Hello everybody, it's Philly Kuts with another comic book haul, number 57, or for those keeping track in the other format, year 2, number 3. Whichever way you prefer. I'm going Fantastic Four numbering style. You know, every week I get a stack of comics and then I talk about it, alright? But lately, to pass the time, I've been playing a lot of this, folks. NHL 16 on Xbox One. I've been having a ton of fun. Good times. I've been mostly playing the computer. Mostly 1v1 mode. Unfortunately, none of my friends, in real life, so to speak, play NHL 16. You know, everybody's all into Madden or FIFA or NBA 2K16. I have nobody to really play NHL 16 with, so I was wondering, you know, I know that a few of you guys are from Canada, and I'm being totally stereotypical here. Because you're Canadian, I'm going to assume that you may enjoy hockey and you may play hockey, and if so, I would love to play you guys, you know? That's my gamer tag on Xbox Live, PhillyKutsProduction, with a Z, not an S, for the Cuts. And, you know, I'd love to play you guys, because, you know, lots of times when you go online, you try to play games with people, you just run into too many dicks, you know? And as I've gotten older, I just don't have the time to sift through all the assholes and all the 12-year-olds and the squeakers that are on there and the mother jokes and the F this, F that. I just don't want to do it. So I figure if I appeal to maybe some of you guys, especially the Canadian contingent, you know, DNA Comics, Sabres, Brasso Sabres. Maybe you guys play hockey. I know that you guys in Canada have hockey on the back of the $5 bill. I mean, how cool is that? That would be like in the United States having football on the back of a $5 bill. But we're not cool like that, you know? We just can't seem to do that. We can't get past dead presidents and buildings on our currency. Anyway, let's get started, man. Lots of DC books this week for me. Starting out with Batman, number 45. I gotta say something, man. I had to get the Monster of the Month variant cover. I don't know if this is supposed to be Batman as Swamp Thing or something. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's Batman as Swamp Thing, but it looks like a steaming pile of dog turd. And that's pretty much what this year's Monsters of the Month variant covers look like this year. They're just shit. I mean, last year's was so good, and I got so many different Monsters of the Month variant covers. And then this year, they're just, I don't know, they're just fucking horrible. There's no other way to describe it. So, Batman, the story continues. Last month, we had a flashback one-shot of, you know, Bruce Wayne as Batman again. This time, we're back up to speed with Jim Gordon as Batman, and that was pretty much the focus in this issue. Jim Gordon is doing battle with this gang called the Devil's Pigs Gang. And we also learn little to nothing more about Mr. Bloom, who's the, I guess, head of this gang. But we learned some key differences in this issue between Jim Gordon as Batman and Bruce Wayne as Batman. Namely, Jim Gordon, you know, he's older, he's not as strong, he's certainly not as smart as Bruce Wayne. He has a mecha suit, okay? Batman has a mecha suit, as I'm sure everybody knows. But in this issue, we learn that Jim Gordon can have this mecha suit help him out when he's not in the suit. Apparently, I think Lucius Fox has programmed what's called a nimble auto program, and basically what it is that he's able to set a target for the bat suit to go to, and then it can, on its own, figure out what to do to get there in any way, shape, or form possible. And Gordon is in a big heap of trouble here in the beginning of this issue. He's caught in an inferno, you know. That's something that Bruce Wayne Batman always encounters. Seems to get out of it. And the mecha suit comes, and helps him save the day. Now, another key difference, though, is that Batman, Mecha Batman, is now an arm of the Gotham City Police Department. And with that comes vast public scrutiny. Whereas before, Bruce Wayne as Batman, he gets to hide and linger in the shadows, doesn't have to answer to the authority of the police. Well, in this issue, Jim Gordon has to resign because his little battle here with the Devil's Pig Gang caused quite a public display. And the new commissioner, I can't remember what her name is, Jerry something, the one who created the bat suit, Jerry, tells him that he has to resign. And it's also revealed that Jerry has these superconductors underneath Gotham City, and she's working to construct new secret metals and gases, and lots of cool, interesting stuff. And then you get, of course, another extended sequence of Bruce Wayne, who has amnesia, has no recollection of his life as Batman or as Bruce Wayne, having an extended conversation with his new lady friend in a park, and kind of talks about, freaky deaky stuff about not being able to remember anything. So that's Batman number 45 in a nutshell. Then onward to Harley Quinn number 21, and believe it or not, this take of The Shining, hey, Deadshot, here's Harley. That's not the Monster of the Month variant cover. It should have been. Why not? Stanley Kubrick's Shining. Jack Nicholson certainly was like a monster in that. An alcoholic monster. Already, I'm not even going to wait. This is the cover of the month. I love this cover. Ode to Shining. Gotta love it. DCU, lots of changes to lots of our main characters, our favorite characters in the DC universe. Harley Quinn seems to be changing into a much more sadistic, vicious woman in this series. She is just relentless. In the last episode, she actually killed quite a number of people. In this issue, she mixes it up right away, right from the get-go, from the first page, with Deadshot. And she has crazy, amazing super strength in this, which I'm surprised by. I kind of was under the impersonation that Deadshot would be able to dispatch her pretty easily. They do have a lengthy battle, which is interesting. The backstory here is that Harley Quinn has stolen a contract job that Deadshot was hired to do by a nurse. I guess there was some nurse in a nursing home back in Coney Island that hired Deadshot to go out to California and recover this nurse's mother who was kidnapped. But this same person hired Harley Quinn to do the job too, and that kind of pissed Deadshot off. Now, I know that Deadshot and Harley Quinn have connections through the Suicide Squad. I don't read that comic, so I can't really comment at all about that, even what their relationship was in that book. But out of all the DCU changes, this is certainly one of the ones that I am enjoying. Amanda Connor, Jimmy Paletti, longtime writers for this series, continue. And you have the artwork of John Timms, who I also enjoy very much, and kind of has some interesting takes and looks on Harley Quinn, stuffed with $100 bills down her bra. Yeah. All right. Jill Valentine's Mario Puzo's Catwoman. Yeah, Catwoman continues to be the mafia boss, but there's lots of big changes coming. Last issue was really a barn burner for this series. Lots of things picked up. Aiko's father, who is the head of the, the Minakawa, Hasagawa crime syndicate, ended up getting murdered. Black Mask ended up doing a number on Aiko, who has been, roaming around the city in a Catwoman suit, pretending to be Catwoman. Well, Black Mask ends up thinking that he's killed Catwoman, when in fact all he's done is injured Aiko, who is dressed up in the Catwoman suit. So there's lots of intrigue and revenge. Aiko starts to get very angry and upset with Catwoman. She kind of blames Catwoman for her father's death, or because she had to dress up like Catwoman. It's hard. It's complicated. Jill Valentine has weaved quite an interesting tale here, which has taken a while for me to begin to like. The other interesting thing in here is the fight between Black Mask and Catwoman. And there's an interesting turn of events with the Penguin after this fight, which I'm not going to reveal to you. But in the last issue, Catwoman finally revealed that she is very, very tired of running this Calabrese crime syndicate, and that she is ready to hand off the duties of being the head of the family to Antonio Calabrese. And there are some big implications in this issue, especially between Antonio and the Penguin. There is some deal-making in here. Deal-making with Cobblepot, which is huge. So I can finally say that, you know, I've been sticking with this series for months, and I've been on the fence with it for months. But, there's Antonio there. But I feel that it's finally paid off, and I'm really finally enjoying it. And I still feel that this has yet to boil over. It's still freaking simmering, man. It's on like medium-high heat right now. Medium-high heat. Jill, just fucking crank it up one more notch, and then we're going to get the shit boiling. You know what I'm saying? All right, Batman, Superman, number 25. Kind of struggling this series. I don't know. It's, you know, the whole Superman truth arcs that are going on in all the Superman comics. It's just getting a little tiresome. This is one of the characters in the DC universe where I really feel they need to return back to just Superman's roots. He still has much of his powers gone. Like, he can't fly, okay? But luckily he has some sort of flying bat contraption that enables him to fly. You know, he doesn't have his X-ray vision. He still has super strength, and he can still do his solar flare, his new power, the solar flare. But he's very limited. And him and the new Batman, Jim Gordon, a.k.a. Mecha Bat, they're not getting along in this. In fact, in the last issue, at the end of the last arc, Jim Gordon pretty much told Superman to get the hell out of town, which he's done. Now, there's a new villain introduced here, or he's an old villain that I have no, you know, familiarity with. Vandal Savage, and he's this 3,000-year-old dude who has control of these ancient warriors. There he is right here, Vandal Savage, 3,000 years old, does a number on severely depowered Superman. He has control of these ancient Viking-like dudes that pretty much remind me of the villains that we were introduced to last story arc that were under the control of Ukur. You know, the underground people, the underground dwellers that live underground in Gotham. Superman really gets the shit beat out of him, and lo and behold, Batgirl comes to save the rescue. So I guess that's the new formula here for Batman. Superman is, when in doubt, just kind of pop in another, you know, hero. Last story arc, it was the Aquaman. All of a sudden, for some reason, Aquaman comes out of the woodwork to help save the day. I gotta say, I love Adrian Siff's art in this. I do enjoy the way that he makes Batgirl look, and she's in like full Oracle mode. She just looks great. I love Adrian. I love his artwork. Batgirl looks great. And I don't know. I'm definitely on the keep or sleep with this status right now, so we'll have to see where it goes, man. I'm being much more aggressive in the sleep department as of late, as you guys know. Alright, Constantine, number 5. This tentacle beast contraption here, it's revealed as the monster that has been killing Constantine's ghosts. Constantine always has these ghosts and spirits around him, and they suffer makes Constantine feel guilty. He just starts to think, why is everybody that I come in contact with, alive or dead, why do they end up suffering? What is it about me? What do I do? Well, it turns out that this beast, you can see the face there, it turns out that it's his lost love, his ex-girlfriend from many eons ago when he was young and just starting to get into magic and the occult. I think her name was Veronica. And she kind of got into all kinds of weird spiritual stuff. Ended up doing a number on her mind. She ended up turning into a monster, folks. Her soul was trapped. And Constantine has to do something that's very morally ambiguous, which I guess is a hallmark of his character. Remember, I'm new. I didn't start reading Constantine until now. I didn't read him in New 52. I didn't read him before that. He does something, I guess, morally ambiguous, which is more in line with what Constantine traditionally has been. I guess there were complaints in the New 52 Constantine that DC started to stray from that. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes care of this monster who he knows has elements of his ex-girlfriend's long-lost love's soul. So it'll be real interesting to see where this goes. This has some Rasputin artists on here. It has Riley Rosmo doing the artwork and Palencia, I can't remember his last, Ivan Palencia as the colorist. So I kind of feel like when I'm looking at this and reading this, what this would be like if fucking Rasputin actually had, text. But if you could see, you could kind of tell that this is definitely like very same feel as Rasputin in a lot of the panels. And it's kind of cool, Kind of almost makes me think that I didn't waste all my money like I did before on all those Rasputin issues. Alright, and one last DC comic that I was unable to get last week because my shop was sold out, and I haven't really read this book yet or glanced through it, so I may have to cheat a little bit here, but it's the Omega Men. Now, the Omega Men, number 5, most of the issues kind of been focused on, the White Lantern, Kyle Rayner, who they have hostage. They have a bomb in his throat, and if he tries to do anything to get away, he's going to blow up. In this issue, they travel to the holy planet Shangri-La and take hostage its ruler, the Space Pope Pontifex. Interesting. So it kind of, again, seems to push the limit of the reader. How much can these Omega Men do that's, again, morally ambiguous to further their cause, because they have done some pretty messed up and grimy things in this series, that's for sure. So I don't know if they're going to throw in some elements of sympathy in here. This book is just chock full of text, and I don't mind at all. Tom King is weaving together an excellent story so far. It's like political. It has elements of spirituality and religion in it. It's kind of a 9-panel format, so it allows for lots of text to be put in. The artwork is incredible. I'm really enjoying the artwork by Barnaby Bagenda, along with the colorist Romano Fajardo Jr. I'm sticking with this to the end. I'm enjoying it. It's going to be 12 issues. I can't wait. DC was going to terminate this prematurely, but they got some outrage on Twitter, and people's minds were changed very, very quickly. And I'm glad. I'm glad, because I'm really enjoying the Omega Men. Here's a rare, big, full-panel spread. And I got to tell you, Bagenda is really fleshing out a world here. I almost feel like I'm reading like a Mass Effect kind of comic book. It just seems very, very fleshed out and enjoyable. You know, so many of the DC books are just kind of crapping out on the background, you know, like Aquaman with bubbles and shit, and Catwoman. But here's a book where they're really fleshing out the world. Alright, I got one Marvel book this week. I know that there's been tons of number ones for Marvel coming out this week. I know, like, Spider-Gwen. I know Guardians of the Galaxy has a new lineup. But nothing's intriguing me. I don't know. I can't get into Marvel. I think I'm just going to wait until Spider-Woman comes out, and that's pretty much it for me. And the Star Wars comics. And here we have Chewbacca. Chewbacca number 1. And guess what? He's Han Soloist. He doesn't have Han Solo with him. And the writer, Jerry Duggan, has made a very brave or possibly stupid decision to not translate any of Chewbacca's, you know, there he is in a nice bed of flowers, Chewbacca, who reminds me of my girlfriend's dog. My girlfriend has a chocolate Labrador. His name is Tucker, and I gotta tell you, he reminds me of Chewbacca. But all you have are just Chewbacca's, you know, grunts. As you can see. That's it. I don't know, man. I'm a little nervous. I don't know. I guess there's going to be a young woman in here who's on the cover where I guess she's going to act, you know, as default interpreter of Chewie, I guess. You know, they'll work it out some way. Her name is Zorro. I don't know, man. You know, I tried to read Groot. I bought Groot number 1, and I got so pissed off because all the motherfucker kept saying was, I am Groot. I am Groot. I mean, come on, man. I don't know, man. I need something more meaningful and deep. You know, I can only interpret so much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there he is again. You know, he's not doing too good there. Here he's not even saying anything. And he's just kind of looking around. I mean, one thing, he looks great. I mean, the artwork in here by Phil Noto, rather, is great. I mean, he looks great. But I gotta say, all the Star Wars books so far have been a pleasant surprise. I've pretty much liked all of them. Princess Leia was but, you know, the Lando story arc just ended. It was tremendous. I loved it. So, I'm going to probably give Chewbacca a chance. We'll see how it goes. It's probably a 5-issue limited series. That's what most of them have been. Abe Sapien, number 27. Landon Everett Call. That's who Abe Sapien was, this fellow here, before he turned into Abe Sapien. This story explores Landon Everett Call. It's actually a Landon Everett Call one-shot. So Abe Sapien, before he was Abe Sapien, and it explores Abe Sapien's possible connection to the human race. Is Abe Sapien the missing link to the human race? Did we not evolve from apes, but in fact, fish people? There's this OWN society that Landon Everett Call was a part of. They actually show an initiation ceremony in the beginning. Notice how that man's cloak is like a fish. Looks like a big catfish. They kind of show this ceremony in the beginning. And as this issue goes on, which is a one-shot, by the way, which I'm happy about. I love to see one-shots. You know, then you don't have to remember anything. They find some interesting artifacts. But not only that, they find an interesting Abe Sapien-like woman in a tank. And if you know anything about Abe Sapien, he was discovered by Hellboy in a tank in like the basement of a building, I think in Secaucus or something, somewhere, you know, out in Hohokus, New Jersey. Look at this. That looks like Atlantis. That's where these fish people came from. So it'll be interesting to see what is revealed in here. What is the connection? Lander Never Call, Abe Sapien, the connection to human beings. I can't wait to see and find out. I love Abe Sapien. The artwork in this is by Elise Gluskova, who does it all digitally, I guess. And it's one of the rare instances where Dave Stewart does not do the coloring of this issue. This guy, Elise, ended up doing the coloring himself. And I think he did a really good job. I really like it. I really like the blues. So it's a good change. It's a nice change. Dave Stewart does like every freaking Hellboy universe comic. And the cover is a Mike Mignola cover. You can definitely tell because Abe Sapien looks pretty shitty. I gotta admit, I don't really like Mike Mignola's Abe Sapien. I like, Fumara's. I think it's Sebastian Fumara's Abe Sapien. He's the guy that does the Abe Sapien comic book. Great job, by the way. All right, Colin Bunn, Halloween's right around the corner, and what better time than Halloween to buy horror comics, right? I love horror comics. Harrow County has been an excellent issue. Colin Bunn, if there's one thing Colin Bunn can do, he can definitely write horror, okay? He can craft a good horror book. Aquaman, not so fucking much. Colin Bunn has been relying a lot on demon seductus tropes. This, again, is a little bit tropey, again. Last issue it was revealed that Emma has a twin sister. Emma is from the country. Her twin sister, what's her name here? Kammi is from the city, and Kammi has money. Emmy does not. Emmy grew up on a farm, milking cows and shit. Not to say that no farmers have money, but Kammi definitely has money. She has a butler that comes with her. They pull up in a nice vehicle. These two start talking. They start talking about their past. They start talking about their witch mother, who, I can't remember her name, Hester Beck, the witch that was killed in the very beginning of the story. Kammi, Emma's sister, is much more accepting that this woman is possibly their mother. Emma is not. So there's kind of like a big dialogue between them, between that fact. They actually go out to the tree, okay, where their mother was hung. You can still see kind of a rope hanging there. And talk about amazing artwork by Tyler Crook, man. Amazing. It's got like this watercolor feel to it. Well, they go out to the tree where their mother was hung, and of all things, they start to dig up the ground to try to dig up her body. That's what, this business is all about on the front cover. I'm not going to say whether they find her body or not, but there's a lot of other interesting things that happen in this issue, too. Kammi ends up going into town, and the town folk think that she is Emma. There's Kammi in her, Sunday's best. Nice sunflower hat and everything. And all the people are very friendly, saying hello to her, kind of surprised by her new look, her new appearance. And Kammi just rolls with it. She doesn't tell anybody that she's not Emma. She just rolls with it. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because, Colin Bunn has done a similar thing with Aquaman. He has Mara's twin sister, who I can't remember her name. Aquaman thinks that it's Mara when it's in fact Mara's twin sister. And Mara's twin sister is a sinister, evil bitch, I guess. And Aquaman thinks it's Mara. So I don't know. That's why I brought it up. I totally fucked that up. That's why I got to start going to a script, guys. I'm sorry. All right. We got Oni Press, who I don't really buy very many issues of. I think I've bought one issue of Hellbreaker, which was by Colin Bunn as well. But this is Blood Feud. And basically it's kind of like a hillbilly Hatfield McCoys. You have these two families that have been feuding with one another. One of the families, I guess, makes a deal with the devil, and they become vampires. There's all kinds of strange things going on in this town, too. If you look on this road, it's like an army of spiders marching across the road. But I'm really interested to read this. Like I said, it's also by Colin Bunn, and he said that a lot of the characters in this are an amalgamation of people that he knew and places that he's, been to growing up in Missouri and in North Carolina. So I guess there's lots of elements of, his life in here and people that he knew, and I guess maybe the sense of humor and the types of things that he was exposed to, like armies of frogs, like BPRD. They say that it does have a comic feel to it. Think Evil Dead. Think Fright Night. They did say that it has that kind of a feel. Here they're fighting some kind of crazy bull. And I'm not going to let you know whether or not in this issue the vampires make an appearance. But I am looking forward to reading this. On the back cover, they have a Friday the 13th looking blood feud. And it actually looks like the outline of a Sasquatch. So I don't know what's up with that. I guess we'll have to see where that goes. So that's Blood Feud. Check it out. I'll keep you guys posted with how that is. And then finally, I got Straightjacket from Amigo Comics. This is written by Torres. This is a sinister looking book. It's only in 3 colors, black, white, and red, which gives it a real unique feel. The art is done by Guillermo Sana. Here's the opening page. Kind of has like a Sin City feel to it. It kind of opens with a sister who has killed her brother in ritualistic fashion. I mean, she really carved him up. I'm just going to show you guys. Check that out. And I don't know if you can see it there. There's a pentagram and the blood and the mess. Just fucking creepy. So it kind of shows this going on. Her murdering her brother because she feels she had to. She has these delusions that in order to save the world, she needed to murder her brother to send him over to the dark side to protect us people here on Earth. Her brother's going to serve as a protector on the other side to prevent these monsters from coming in and crossing over into Earth. There's the back cover. Sinister, man. Vicious. Then it cuts to her, much older, residing in a mental institution. She's in a long-term inpatient facility. And it kind of goes into depth with her interactions with her psychiatrist. There's a videotape of her being interviewed by her psychiatrist. And then here is the clinical team kind of arguing what her diagnosis is. She was originally diagnosed with schizophrenia. They talk about her mental health medication regimen. And they have doubts whether or not that should be her diagnosis. So interesting stuff. I just can't wait to get into this further and further. Her psychiatrist is a wheelchair-bound fellow, and it looks like he may be haunted by something. As you can see in the background, there looks like to be all demonic creatures in that red hue. So I can't wait to see what the connection is between those two. So I'm always happy to get something by Torres. Look at that, man. It's always a treat. I know him most from reading Roman Rituals, which was a 4-issue series. I did have a little bit of trouble getting this whole series. I kind of had to wait quite a while for the issues to come out, which is a problem with these ultra-independent books, is that their release schedule is very, very staggered. So, it can be very, very unpredictable. But Roman Ritual was basically a story about the Pope getting possessed by Satan, the Pope of the Catholic Church. That was just a great, great cover. So I'm really looking forward to this. I just hope and pray that I'm able to get this whole series. I'm not even sure how many issues it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be 4 like Roman Ritual. But I just hope that I'm going to be able to get them all. I'm going to talk to my comic book shop and make sure that I'll be able to get the whole series. So I'll keep you guys posted. Great Halloween book if you can get it. And try to support these independent companies, all right, man? I mean, I think all of us, pretty much buy DC and Marvel books predominantly, or Image, but it's good to help out the small independent publishers as well. All right, dude, that's been another one in the book. Sorry if I rambled extra long. Wasn't prepared. I had a long day at work, so I got started a little bit late and wasn't able to prepare as much as I usually do. You guys let me know what you're liking, what you're disliking, what books are you into, and I'll see you next week. And play me in NHL, for Christ's sakes, all right? All right, guys. Peace.